Well, for all you camels out there, this is hump day one more time. We're fast approaching the halfway point of the traditional work week. For us, that happens in about an hour at 8 o'clock, marking the halfway point of today's show, give or take a few minutes depending upon our mood. And that's just kind of like the way things are. Is anybody got anything major going on right now? Do y'all? You got anything really? No? Okay. All right, let's go.
I can think of.
I'm through. I've done this part. That's enough. Jacksonville police put out a missing persons report yesterday. They were looking for a 14-year-old runaway girl. The good news, detectives located that girl last night, safe and sound, about 9 o'clock. Yay. Oh, yay. Every time, and I did it again yesterday, every time I hear of a missing teenager, especially a missing female teenager, it takes me back to August 1975, 74, 75, whenever, when two 15-year-old girls walking home along Onslow Drive Extensions, what we called it in those days, were lured into a van. Their families called the cops, and police were beating the bushes looking for the young ladies. I got the call later that night from the sheriff's office. Their bodies were found by an off-duty deputy on a dirt road in the Bear Creek area. 2 weeks later, the man who kidnapped them murdered them. He robbed a second bank in Jacksonville exactly 2 weeks after he killed them. That was the notorious Marcus Schrader. In big cities, they can take a runaway report, but they don't pay any attention to it. 24 hours minimum, 48 hours typical. They said, well, they'll probably come home, and 99 times out of 100, they probably will come home. It only takes one time in my many, many years on Earth to make that a memorable, unfortunately, a memorable occasion. So, no, I do not take any of that lightly.
No. It was a scary
and
time.
Good for the cops yesterday. Yay,
yes.
Y'all. Don't know how it came down. Don't care. It's good. So, anyway, Chris, I'm Murrayford Brown, by the way.
I'm Chris Marks.
I'm Lee Barris.
And welcome back. I could be Walter again today. Whew. Yeah. Y'all, if you have not watched Jeff Dunham on TV, go to YouTube and look him up. Jeff Dunham, Dunham, and he is a ventriloquist, and people say, God, one of those. No, he's got more talent than just being a dummy watcher. He refers to his people as people.
They are
to him.
Yeah.
They talk back to him.
If you ever have a chance, look up Terry Fader. He is an excellent.
Yeah. He talked about him. There was an interview with him on. They had done him on some show. I don't know when it was, but it showed up on YouTube. So I had a nice long interview with him about his history and all that sort of good stuff. And yeah, he treats those people like they're people.
Yes.
And he builds these dummies.
Right.
They are dummies. They're not puppets.
No.
He said they have a mind of their own. And I think they do. That I can see that too. But anyway, whatever. He's a good guy. But he's got one character, his main character, his primary character. I love him. Walter.
He kind of reminds.
He looks like
I know where you're going.
He's got the same attitude I've got.
No, I was going to say reminds me of Rayford. I was just never mind.
Yeah,
I'm going to be nice. which is hard to do.
It's easy for you. It's not. I mean, I really got to work at it, and I should be getting overtime pay, hazardous duty pay if I have to work at being nice. So I'm going to do a commentary there. How's that?
Oh,
Going to rankle some of you, at least a few of you folks out there. I guarantee you that this morning. At the end, if you agree or disagree with my perhaps off-center thought process, please call us. I will want to hear from you. The diagnosis that former President Joe Biden revealed over the weekend is still getting too much attention. Not because of the actual fact that Biden has prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, but because professionals, pretty much without exception, say this event did not happen in the last few months, as some are trying to lead us to believe. In fact, it's generally thought, if the reports are accurate, that Biden's exams during the time he took office in 2021 or shortly thereafter would have revealed that he had this cancer. In other words, no one is buying this sudden report. And of course, y'all, that really does not matter. What is important is the trust that 300 million Americans no longer have when it comes to serious medical issues involving the single most important leader in this world. When you consider the lies that we know were told about Biden's cognitive issues, it just adds to the mistrust we have. Today, I find it hard to believe any reports about Trump's health. Those reports are coming from the political wing of the White House. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's my fault. And if we can't trust them to tell us the truth about any president's health, then why should we trust them when they tell us anything that can impact our safety, our future, climate change, oil reserves, or even military readiness? I don't buy it. You're going to have to show me. I'm going to come from Missouri like you've never seen before. Biden's current status does not affect any of that. Okay? That's not even the point. Trump's physical and mental status does. I feel for anyone suffering from any form of cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, but how it impacts 300 million Americans, the future of this nation, our children and grandchildren, is more important than the impact it has on a single politician. We joke about weather reports and those weather reporters. Most every TV station has a certified meteorologist on staff. Even given all of the best information that is available with their computers, their high-tech equipment, their radars, and the abilities of the National Weather Service, it's difficult to give a 100% accurate forecast for every spot in a station's coverage area. Right now, I will continue to put more faith in what those guys say is going to happen than in the actual facts that are apparently covered up at the highest level of our government. I trust every meteorologist in this country more than I trust our federal government.
Well, you know, I have to
That's saying a lot, by the way.
agree with that
Yes, it
because
is.
do you know
Prostate exam.
it just didn't sound right, was in 2014.
11 years.
That's beside the point. They do blood work.
Yes.
Blood work shows up.
And
and
as
the
president,
PSAs will give you an indication.
right, exactly. And that was the first thing I said. Why didn't it show up in his blood work? But for it to spread so, like it has, you know, he's had it for a while. President of the United States give the utmost medical care. All right, but this is what I'm thinking. Okay, he tried to run for another 4 years. And in the 4 years, yes, in the 4 years that he was already in office, he had a whole lot of moments, dementia, forgetfulness, could only work 10 to 4, had to take frequent naps.
Yeah, I don't know about any of the reports that we hear.
That's
we
in his
read about.
book. Yes.
I know what his book says, but come on.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, could there have been a coup? Could they have been a group of Democrats that actually put him up there to beat Trump for one thing, to knock Trump out. And they were the ones that were actually running the country for those 4 years. They were the ones behind the scenes running. It wasn't Joe Biden.
I'm gonna go back to one thing I told you when Joe Biden was elected. The very first thing that I said about that whole process.
Mhm.
Yes, he selected a girl, a woman. No, the Democrat National Committee selected his running mate, Harris. She was very popular in the
Right.
polls prior to her withdrawing. She could probably have won the Democrat nomination at that time, but she could not have beaten Trump. The Democrats knew that. They had to have a name. So they put Biden in. He was the only name that was sound and safe, secure, an elderly guy, been in office for 5,000 years.
Mhm.
He was a safe choice. And then in 2 years and 1 day, he's going to resign, citing wants to be with his family more, possible health issues, whatever. He could
Right.
have resigned in 2 years, would have still been listed as the
Mhm.
president, 46th president. And then Kamala Harris would have waltzed in. She would have had 2 years to get her act straight.
Need more than that.
She would have had 2 years first before the election, the
Right.
election that she would have been running against whoever, Trump or whoever.
It was all a
And
setup.
it's a possibility she could have, if she had followed what she should have been doing, what they would have been doing, if she had gotten into this lockstep, she would have been elected as president and could have served as many as 10 years, the 2 years term she filled out, if she had taken office before 2 years and a day. She would have been finishing up the term of, and that would have counted as a full term for her.
I think Joe Biden no sooner got into the presidency where you have that select group, and I'm thinking people like Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, a bunch of those right there who actually took over the presidency. You saw Biden sitting in the Oval Office, but it was that group that was running
That
the
was a
country.
cardboard cutout.
I think
Yes.
you're missing the Clintons too.
And yeah,
Really,
I know
seriously.
that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, Hillary was doing everything she could because she really
Right.
wanted to
Oh,
be
yeah.
stepping in there to take
I mean,
Biden's place.
there was so
either
many.
that or as vice president. Well, imagine Kamala goes in 2 years. Okay, we need to. Oh my God, I could select Hillary. We could have 2 women running this country.
Mhm.
2 of those women?
I just
Oh.
think that
No.
they snowed us. You know,
They
really
snowed y'all. They did not snow me. I
I'm
told
not
you about
talking
the whole thing
about
in the
on a
beginning.
personal level.
Yes.
I'm talking about the nation.
And they did. They really stuck it to us. And
Right.
it was the biggest cheating scandal.
The auto pen.
That doesn't even bother me.
It bothers me.
How
How many things were signed by
How
someone
many
who
are
probably-
signed by somebody every day other than the man whose signature
I'm
is
talking
on it?
about new policies that came out.
Yeah.
Biden can't even remember. They asked him on an interview, "Do you remember signing this and enacting into law?" No.
If you ask me for some of the things, did you sign? Oh, well, maybe. Is that my signature? It kind of looks like it. I said, well, it's probably me.
Well, there's
I
been
mean, over the
instances
years.
in the past where I've had somebody sign my name to something.
I do it
But
every
I'm
day.
fully
You just
aware
don't
of
know
it.
it.
Yeah,
Look at
That's
your
what
checkbook here, and I'll
check
show
on.
you.
That's what happened to my check. God.
But
Now I know.
seriously, it's those kinds of things don't bother me. Now, if they sign something about this is a declaration of war, that better not be done with an auto pen.
There's
It better be
a-
done.
I would
Camera.
guarantee you, and it's in every presidency, there's things that we don't know about, but I
Mhm.
guarantee you there was a lot of cover up with Biden. A lot.
Well, there had to be.
And there was one group that was running the country.
The first thing that he said that caught my attention was when he was speaking at the Naval Academy
Oh,
and how
was
he
that
was.
the one where he tripped and fell?
Besides that, where he told the graduating class that he had been appointed by a senator.
yeah.
Yes.
And we all know you don't get appointed to the Naval Academy. But he said he did, yeah.
He might have had a senator's influence, but like you said, you don't get appointed.
Anyway.
Mm.
910-333-0139. You want to chat? Now's your time because we got some interesting guests today. Dr. Rosemary Stein, of course, is going to be joining us in about 15, 16 minutes or so. Going to talk about everything not only medical, but everything involving our little kiddies, our grandkiddies. Upcoming summer, it's upon us, y'all. It's right here. The school's going to be out soon. They're already in the mode. So I'm going to start giving you folks some warnings right now. Motorists in the mornings and in the afternoons, especially in the afternoons, as you get closer to the end of school.
Yes.
You're following a school buses. Those little kids get off the bus. They are not on a leash.
You're excited.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They run in
School's
front of the
out.
bus. They run behind the bus. They run in front of cars, and they will never even look.
Mm-mm.
Slow your rear ends down. Pay attention. Throw that cell phone in the trunk
Mm-hmm.
where you can't get to it. You can't hear it ring. Leave all the distractions behind you. You're fighting in the mornings or in the afternoons. Put it behind you. You're going to be sorry if you hit one of these kids, because there is no reason for it.
No.
I don't care if they run right smack dab in front of you and jump on the hood of your car. You better be stopped when they do. Okay?
Yeah, how many times have we heard of something like that happening on the last day of school? Kids are so excited.
That was one of the big lectures that we got as a
Yes.
school bus driver when I
Yes.
drove. And that was one of the biggest things, the biggest takeaways I ever had was the last day going into the Christmas vacation and the last day of school,
Mm-hmm.
the two most dangerous days of the year, statistically, in the country for kiddies.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so
You talked about the city or summertime. There was a news article last night about the sunscreen lotions between the FDA and EGA, something like that, about the wrong kind of sunscreen lotions people are using. They have zinc in it. They have some
Yes.
kind of something else.
bed sheets work well. Wrap yourself up in a bed sheet.
I'm like,
Okay.
what?
Just don't put a pointed hat on when you do it.
Well, they did mention the hats.
Hats
Hats,
for
umbrellas.
you and me are extremely important.
Oh, I wear 'em,
my
yes.
God.
Yeah.
That's Stephanie.
Oh. Did I
Hey,
know this,
Steph, how are you?
This is Stephanie. How are you?
We're
Hello,
doing fine,
Stephanie.
Stephanie. What's going on?
Has she hung up?
Are you there?
Stephanie? Okay.
She just wanted to call
Kathy?
say hello.
Hi, Stephanie. Kathy.
Kathy, are you there?
Okay.
Samantha, are you there? Hey, Jill? Where'd she go? Okay, we'll wait. She's still connected? I'm still connected.
You brought up a good point, Chris, because I've just reading about issues with sunscreen. It says many of the common chemical ingredients used in sunscreens are absorbed into the body's bloodstream
Uh-huh.
at concentration levels higher than the FDA's safety threshold.
Mhm.
One concern is that the chemicals can disrupt hormones in the body. Lord, that's Charlie calling. I don't need my hormones messed up.
I didn't hear that part of it.
Oh, my.
It's the other things.
Don't want to mess with a woman's long
Yeah, don't mess with my
Man need to
hormones.
run for the hills, head for the hills. Hey, Charlie, what's up?
Hey, Charlie.
So I was looking at the pardons, and I think we may have mentioned this the other day. George W. Bush, he had 200 pardons of clemency. Barack Obama had 1,900. Trump had 1,700. You guys know how many Joe Biden had, correct?
Way too many. Yes.
Did you say clemencies?
Pardon.
Well,
Pardons.
it's pardons or clemency. And also, I will take this into effect with Biden. I do agree with a lot of his pardons. They took into consideration those that were sent to federal prison for jail for like marijuana and other abuses. So,
Well, you
so-
cannot disagree with that, because if they were charged under a federal statute, like in trafficking or whatever, they're not sent to federal prison for misdemeanor possession of a joint. Okay, they're sent to federal prison for major trafficking or distribution charges.
So that's like concrete. Okay. So all of you guys have children or grandkids or neighbors that have probably smoked marijuana. Obviously, maybe you guys did as well.
I did not.
So are you saying
I
that?
didn't.
Wait, say it again.
I did not.
I didn't either.
Hold on. You have a family member.
I have family
There's a
members
marijuana.
that do it on a regular basis, but that's their
Okay.
thing.
So should they be? First of all, I'm not defending Joe Biden at all. I'm going somewhere with this. But do you think that your family members that smoke marijuana should be in jail or prison?
They're probably not going to be in jail or prison if they smoked some marijuana. Okay,
No.
first of all, it's a misdemeanor in most cases to do that. And even if they were caught 25 years ago, it was still a misdemeanor then. And they're not going to go spend time in prison in the big house unless they were on a repeat offender status, unless they were an habitual offender for whatever crimes that they were involved in, unless they were trafficking and selling to other people or buying drugs and handing them out to other people.
Yeah, when it was back in the 70s, when that was the drug, marijuana. You know, if you were selling it, you're going to get it.
If you were in possession of more than 28 grams, which is 1 ounce, I think it is, then that was a felony. But other than that, 28 grams is a lot of dope if you would look at it.
Oh yeah.
For personal use, and you were generally considered to be in possession with intent to sell or distribute.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you can go back to Joe Biden. I think in like maybe the mid '80s, where he was on Congress or the Senate. I'm not sure where he was. He was given this speech where he introduced a law, and he showed a quarter. We all know what a quarter looks like, and he said if you get caught with a quarter of crack cocaine, you are absolutely going to jail for a minimum of 10 years. Not 2 years, not 4 years. It's a minimum of 10 years. So a lot of blacks were doing crack cocaine during that era. Whites were just doing sniffy cocaine. They weren't subjected to the same prison penalties as blacks were. So here's my point. I really don't think the person that sells the marijuana is any different from the person that buys the marijuana. They're both doing something illegal.
Okay, well, you can go argue all you want before the courts, but here's what I have a problem with every time. I don't care whether it is Trump or whether it's Biden or whether it's Carter or whether it's Obama or whether it's, Roosevelt. I don't care. I have problems when these individuals, as one person, have decided that they are smarter and have more knowledge of every case that they decide that they are going to pardon or commute the sentences of. I have problems with one man putting himself above the law, above 12 jurors, above a judge, above the police officers who investigated. He's smarter than all of those people combined. That's my problem.
So I get that. Hey, I forgot. Are you guys in South Carolina or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Jacksonville, home of Camp
You guys
Lejeune.
know who Strom? You guys know
I
who
knew Strom Thurmond.
is,
Yes, I met Strom Thurmond when he was 900 years old. And a new father.
Okay, so listen. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but you guys know that Strom Thurmond was involved in the KKK, correct?
Yeah, that's the words. Everybody was.
What do you mean everybody was?
Everybody in the South at one point in time, according to tradition, everybody was a member of the Klan.
So hold on, be very careful how I word this. That means that your grandparents, your mothers and your fathers were involved in the Klan. They hated blacks.
According to all the reports that are out there, written by the Yankees.
But I can tell you, Charlie,
But I'm not saying that. But were you guys raised by that?
No,
I was not.
No.
There was a different. And then when you get into, there's the South, there's the Deep South, and then there's a really, really deep South. And the further away you got from metropolitan cities, from metro areas, the more likely it is you had a relative. If you weren't a member or a sympathizer, call them that, if you were not with the Klan, then you were probably in the minority yourself. But no, my family did not own slaves. We did the work. That's the reason that my grandparents had 8 kids so they could work the farm.
Yeah. Actually, Charlie, do you know where the first slaves came from?
No, you said where the first slaves came? I think it was like maybe 1,000 years ago. Probably the Dutch, the white people, Italians.
You're close.
Right?
Yeah, European, Italy. And they were actually enslaved by people from Africa.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So wait,
and the
what
Africans.
was that period called? What was that called? What period was
Oh
that?
God, I forgot. But
Uh,
and let me tell you about the more recent time, the slave trades that we're kind of familiar with because of history. You do know how those individual slaves were captured and sold to the white Europeans who transported them to this country, right? They were tribe. One tribe in Africa went up against another tribe and said, "We're going to catch all you guys and we're going to sell you," and that's what they did. That's how it came about. Now we pushed up against a deadline here, Charlie, today, so we got a lot to do, and I've only got a few minutes to get weather and some other stuff in. We got another caller, and so what we have to talk to you later on. Okay.
Thanks, Charlie.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlie.
thanks, Charlie. Talk to you later.
Do we have
Stephanie?
Stephanie is back?
Stephanie, you there?
Stephanie's here.
Hey, we lost you.
I know we got disconnected,
Okay.
but I want to mention two things.
Okay.
One, that this weekend is Memorial Day,
It is.
which I hope people understand that this is the day that we want to honor and remember and the sacrifices that the service members have, the past service members made, and what our future presidents are making. So it's a day of remembrance of sacrifices and just memorializing the veterans and the military, all the military veterans. And second, Reach Across America Bike Run. Woohoo! It's coming up on May 31st at the New River Harley Davidson, and registration begins at 10 o'clock, and the kickstands go off at 11:30. We're going to have 50/50s out there. We're going to have door prizes. It's a hot dog day, so they get hot dogs. And Chris is going to be the cooker of the hot dogs. The contribution fee to get in to the register for the bike run is $34, which is 2 wreaths to be laid on a gravesite of one of our veterans, fallen veterans. And that's all I have to say. That's my announcement.
Okay, now this bike ride, this is motorcycles or bicycles?
Oh, these are motorcycles.
Okay,
These
just
are
checking.
motorcycles.
And while I'm on that now, very quickly, if you are a motorcycle enthusiast, it's not going to help you for this ride, and we're going to have a gentleman in here next week. He's from the Jacksonville PD. There are going to be 4 police officers who are bike enthusiasts themselves, are going to be giving some lessons on motorcycle safety coming up early in June. And we'll talk more about that. But anyway, that's going to be happening. So stay tuned for that next week as well.
Is today a boating day?
Huh?
Is today a boating day?
Every day is a boating day. Sometimes submarines are better than the.
I thought you said voting, and I'm like,
Oh,
did
sorry,
I miss
voting,
something?
voting.
We can vote for boating.
I was trying to lead
Boating
you.
and fishing are looking pretty good right now, but you need to pick and choose your days and where you go. Offshore today out to 20 nautical miles. Winds out of the south 10 to 15 knots, becoming southwesterly 15 to 20. Gusts up to 25 this afternoon. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Building to 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Go early. Plan to come home early. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, becoming choppy in the afternoon. Tomorrow, northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots. Southwesterly in the afternoon, 2 to 4 footers. Not a bad day. Sounds and rivers only a moderate chop. Friday looking pretty good going into the weekend.
Phew.
Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop.
And today we have a chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly sunny with a high near 90. South winds 7 to 13 miles per hour, becoming west in the afternoon. Winds could gust as high as 21. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 64. Thursday, sunny with a high near 84. Friday, sunny with a high near 79.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yuck.
Okay, we're waiting here. Dr. Rosemary Stein should be ringing us up here in just a moment or so, and we'll be talking about all other good things. Immigration and Customs Enforcement captured an Ecuadorian illegal who is facing vehicular homicide charges in Minnesota. Minnesota cut him loose, and even though there was a federal detainer and ICE hold put on him, they let him go anyway. So Friday, the feds swooped in, grabbed him up, and Minnesota can't have him back. That August crash last year, in which German Adriano Lungari Inga had a blood alcohol content twice the legal limit, killed a lady, Victoria Eileen Harwell. She was a mother, hurt her teenage daughter and sister, according to the DHS and the local media reports. Despite a lack of cooperation from local Minnesota authorities, ICE arrested criminal illegal alien Inga. This criminal illegal alien had been evading prosecution for vehicular homicide that resulted in the death of the Minnesota mom. This is according to the Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security said in a statement Tuesday. I don't know what's wrong with these jurisdictions. The sheriff's office there. This guy was actually arrested on an outstanding warrant on May 10th of this year. What, 2 weeks ago, a week ago? Then released on the 13th. They did not notify ICE, even though there was a detainer on him.
Wow.
I do not understand. And, the first thing that happens in some of these local jurisdictions is the locals raise Cain. They say, we need some federal help. I'll help you out. I'll cut your funds off. If you want us to enforce all your laws, then you don't just get out of the way. We'll take your money, cut your funds off, and we'll send in the feds. Please don't ever let that happen. Okay? We need local law enforcement, but local law enforcement needs to be responsible. And that starts with the county commissioners, the city councils, and across this great nation of ours. And if we, the people, we have control over them. We control our county commission here in Onslow County. We control our city councils, town councils and town commissioners. We control them. We can get to them real easy. All of us can get to them. We can take them, we can put them in, we can take them out. And it happens from time to time. We'll go back to the county commission purge a few years back, okay? It can be done, and we have the power to do it. So therefore, we don't want to ever give up that power. But making them responsible, making them as individuals see the light, that's up to us to encourage them to do right. And failure to do right will get you removed.
Speaking of ICE, I saw last night that Congresswoman from New Jersey.
Yeah.
I have her right here.
Okay.
MacGyver.
And she says, I can't wait for my day in court.
Me either.
She assaulted an ICE agent.
And they got it on video.
She's LaMonica MacGyver, New Jersey representative, House of Rep. And she's actually campaigning and raising funds off of all of this.
You're
Off
kidding.
this episode. She said that she had to do something to save us all.
We can quit. We'll help. Just say, I resigned. That'll help us.
She says, less than 2 weeks ago, I was doing my job and conducting oversight at an ICE facility in my city.
That's her job?
She says she was sounding the alarm and asking people to donate now so she can fight these charges and keep speaking truth to the power.
Truth to the
Dr.
power.
Rose.
I have a question for Dr. Rose when we get.
Okay, we got questions for Dr. Rose.
I got one.
Okay, Chris
Yeah.
has got
So,
questions.
Chris, do you have a little pain in your elbow? Does it hurt? Does it hurt when you do this? If it does, don't do that.
I could ask her about my thumb, but
I have.
You put it on backwards this morning, didn't you? Dr. Rosemary Stein, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I think you guys are confusing me with an orthopedist.
Oh. Well, I'm glad we're not confusing you with a medical examiner, so that would be worse for us. How you feeling today? I'm fine, Doc. I'm fine. Leave me alone.
Very good. Those are always good answers because the doctor will always try to fix something,
Yeah.
whether it's what the patient is calling for or not.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Just seeing the kids go through their last couple of weeks of school. That's good. They're smiling, except that they have those the end of year testing in front of them next week, and I hope they're prepared so that they do well and they can be happy with themselves through the summer.
Well, there's a do-over. They can take it all over again next year in case they screw it up this year, right? Yeah, don't want to lose a year.
They could. It's probably a better alternative than just letting them keep on going through the same year if they didn't know that material. But most parents and teachers don't like that.
Yeah, do we still have a philosophy in some of the schools like we had back when I was in school? They got tired of seeing the same old jerk, a first or second or third or fourth grade teacher. I've already had you one time. I've got you again. Oh my God, you weren't good the first time, and I got to do it again. Oh, you're going to pass this time.
Yeah.
Called social promotions, right? You remember those?
Yes. Yeah, we still have the social promotions, except that they don't usually have to do it. They don't do it the second time. It's the first time. So they didn't learn it the first time. They go up in a grade and they still don't know it.
Yeah, just real quick, and this has nothing to do with Dr. Rose's medical knowledge, but I graduated with a young man. He wasn't a young man at that time. His license plate on the front of his car said classes 72, 73, 74, 75, finally 76. Now, seriously, what he would do is he would miss the last day of school on purpose.
So he could go back again.
Yeah.
He was a professional student.
Pretty much.
I've heard of that. Huh. Wow.
Dr. Rose, question on a news story came out about sunscreen protection for not children, but everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's some questions. I think Lee delved into it a little bit more about getting into the bloodstream.
I don't think a lot of people
sunscreen
understand
lotion, yes.
that when you rub some of these medications on your skin, they're topical medications along with the sunscreens, and they're not necessarily medications, but this stuff absorbs into your skin and then gets into your bloodstream, right? That's the way this stuff works, right?
That's pretty much right. And a portion of it will absorb into your skin and will get into your system. Whether it's your bloodstream or further down on the skin, it's still your system. It's still going to get into your body.
Yeah, well,
so you have to be cautious about the products that you're using.
right. So the sunscreens are not meant to, invade your skin. They're just meant to protect you from the rays. But they somehow, anything you put on your skin can be absorbed, right?
Yes, traces of anything that you put all over your body will be absorbed that you put on your skin will be absorbed into your body.
How do we know what we should not be putting on our skin then? Because they say, this is safe for human use.
That's the difficult one. I mean, you really have to read the products. And if you put something on and you don't feel well the next day, I think it's a good rule of thumb to go back over and think about things you might have eaten, things you might have been exposed to. And if the only new thing that you did was apply a sunscreen or some other kind of cream, you may want to consider that's something to be eliminated.
If I decide I've got to go get some sunscreen because I don't want to get burned, and I say, well, okay, I got to rub this stuff on it. It's not like I can take a pill and make it you don't get burned. But if I get this stuff, okay, SPF 30, 40, 50, 100, whatever. If I do it, how do I know? I know it's got all the ingredients listed there, and I assume some of it is just to make it feel good like cream, but some of it is it ends up getting absorbed into your body. How do you know which of that stuff is not safe? Is there a central clearing agency?
That's where the modern knowledge and ways of doing things are helpful, because anything can be Googled.
Yep.
If you look up a sunscreen and Google it and say, is this safe? You're going to probably get some information on whether that particular product has had a problem or not. There have been a lot of products that have been taken off the market because they did find that more than just trace amounts of the substances in it were in the bloodstream especially in children or small animals if they're doing testing on small animals, and those were taken away from from the market, and the product was redone. But how about the side effects? It's not just is it in your bloodstream and you're just walking around and nothing's happening, but how about some of the side effects? And the side effects, because it's skin and it's slowly absorbed, you may not see some of those side effects for a while, but it's a good idea, if you're concerned about it, to look up the product that you're using and seeing if there have been any side effects reported that the company has been aware of. And I guess that's how you would make a good choice. On children, it's a lot different, because you're thinking, they need more sun protection, but they have smaller body surfaces. So it's a smaller amount could affect a child more. That's why a lot of people are now going into the wearing of layers, and they're very fine layers, but they're layers that have sun protection in them, instead of putting on certain, coats of the sun protectant lotion.
And of course, for the folks who go to the beach, little kiddies and others, those little bikinis, they just cover up a portion of your body. So they're not going to provide a whole lot of protection for anything. But you brought up a point here, and my brain went to work. And when you did, we got kiddies out there. We got 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old teenagers. We got whoever. For little kiddies, I go to the store back when I had a little kitty, and I bought something called a baby aspirin. It was 81 milligrams. It's a baby aspirin for the kid, because the kid was not capable of handling a 325 milligram aspirin. Is that about right? Do we have any sunscreens that are baby formulas?
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
Yes, we do, but they don't necessarily have less of the ingredients that can be harmful and could be absorbed into the system of the child. So that's where it gets kind of tricky. The thing, I think, is to protect the child from the sun. And if you're out there, you need to pay attention to see how much sun your child is getting and how many coats of sun protectant. They used to say that you should reapply your sun protection every hour or 2 hours.
Yes.
And that is something to consider, because if you're doing that, even if you're going into the water, some of that is getting absorbed. So what's the right timing? When should you go back in? And there are different answers for everybody, but I think the biggest thing is the common sense. If you've been out there for a couple of hours and it's a hot day, it's probably time to get inside and get that skin cooled down and do something else. And maybe later in the afternoon you can go back out. But also those times between, let's say, 10:30 or 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock is when the UV rays are the strongest. And you don't necessarily want to be yourself or take your small kids outside because that can affect them, and it can dehydrate them, but it also can give them some sun poisoning.
Well, you said pay attention, and for my brain goes weird. I thought of the word attention, ATTENT. Put them under a tent.
Yeah.
They make tents for your kiddies. You don't have to just sit out there under a sort of an umbrella or sit out there in the sun. Let the kids do that. Put a tent up. You got these little tents that you can pop up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, you gotta know, have a plan. Mm-hmm. Whether it's that you have a tent, one of those little shaboomy things, so you get a little bit of protection from the sun. Or also, after you've been out there for an hour or 2 hours, mm-hmm. Okay, it's time to take a break. Let's go have an ice cream. Let's go sit under the shade. You got to have a plan. Otherwise, the 4 hours will pass by, and your kids and yourself, you're going to be miserable, or you're going to be sick. So the most important thing is to have a plan laid out for the family. The sun is a wonderful thing, but it can be dangerous in large amounts. And I think the thing with sun protection is that it gives you a false feeling of security. And you have it on, and there are all these things about it getting absorbed. But the worst thing of all is that it doesn't completely protect you at all. Otherwise, people slathering their stuff on you.
Yeah.
It may protect you to a certain degree, but it's not going to stop you from getting some of the other side effects of the sun, like dehydration, sun poisoning. Those things are still going to be there. So that you need to be aware, and you need to have time limits on how much time you're going to spend out, and not just think the sun protection lotion is going to do everything.
And a couple of points there. One is you mentioned reapplying every couple of hours like they tell you to do, but that stuff that you applied the first time, the part that's going to be absorbed into your system is already there. It's not going to wash away. So you're just adding to that every time you reapply, right? Wow. That's called a buildup.
Yeah, that is a buildup. That certainly is, and it can affect your skin. But you're also going into the water. Some of it is washing off. That's why they say put another layer on. But there are a lot of factors involved in all of this. And as long as the family, especially mom and dad, have a plan, I think that things are pretty much going to go a lot better than if you just arrive, have no plan, sit the kids in the sun for 4 hours, and then wonder what happened and why the kids are so sick the next day.
Now, we always hear, those fair-haired, the real honest-to-goodness blondes and the red-headed people, the very, very fair skin, how they can burn so much easier. But therefore, we would assume, the people would assume that the darker-skinned people, the Italians, the African-Americans, they would not burn. That is a fallacy, right?
Well, and they have more sun protection because they have more melatonin in their skin. So you do have more protection from the sun. But on the other hand, once again, it gives you a false feeling of security just because you have darker skin. It will not stop the rays. It will not stop you from getting very sick, from getting dehydrated. It's not going to do all of that. We're really talking about skin cancer when we're saying those things, not about being able to protect yourself from like I said, sun poisoning, dehydration. So it's limited in what your melatonin can do, or melanin can do, so that you have to titrate that. Yes, obviously, a person who's a redhead or a blonde, very fair skin is going to have less protection. But people who are darker skin like myself, we still have to set those limits and realize that that extra skin coloring is not going to protect us completely.
Yeah. And Chris here, we each have, we go to the barbershop these days, and we don't have to spend nearly as much because they, when we go for a haircut, they usually cut about 4 and they turn us loose. We are extremely susceptible. Chris and I will both attest to this. Ball cap, something to protect your ears, a big old bonnet, whatever. When you're out in the sun, you're fishing, or you're on the boat, or whatever. Otherwise, it's awful. The tops of my ears get really bad too. And you will get skin cancer. I will tell you that. So it's not if you will get it.
With children too. Children, if they're outside, you should get them used to wearing bonnets, or if they're little boys and they want to wear baseball caps, that will protect their head. And even if you have a hair full of head, those rays will get of hair. Those rays will get through the hair, and you will have more of that sun get into the scalp and be able to do some damage in the scalp. And the other thing is, with a bonnet, you have also some protection from the heat, because it will dissipate, and you have a tendency to get less dehydrated and less heat poisoning.
Yeah, lighter skin, a lighter colored hats, a white, a light tan, or whatever, ball caps or bonnets or something like that. They reflect a lot of light, a lot of the heat, and those things that some of us love to wear dark clothing and dark stuff like that. That absorbs heat. And if it's on your head, you got a dark cap on your head, you are sitting in an oven.
You don't want to attract more heat.
Nope.
And more of the sun's rays. So yes, choose lighter colors when you are outside and you know that you'll be getting some sun.
Yeah, all right. Any more questions, guys?
No,
I've been sitting here looking up
Making
about
notes.
sunscreen and
Yeah.
posting it on our
Yeah.
comments section for people. I found some interesting stuff.
Yeah, and
Dr.
I would imagine FDA has got some stuff out there. because-
Dr. Rhodes led me to investigate.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
And
I'm so glad. Yes, and once again, remember that the some of the best time to go outside with the kids, 3:30 to 5 maybe, or early in the morning. I know it's not fun, but those times between 11 and 2 or 3 are the most dangerous times, especially for the little ones. They get dehydrated and they get the effect of the sun much faster and much more.
I was going to mention this, Dr. Rose, just to make sure that people don't misunderstand that the UVA rays are there even if it's not sunny.
oh, that's
You-
if it's cloudy,
Yes.
you got them.
Is that
That
right?
is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So you think you have that false sense of protection again because it's cloudy, but you can actually feel it, and you can feel sometimes through the clouds the sun the sun's power comes through, and it comes through stronger through those little cracks.
Yes, it does. But the good thing is, the bad thing is you don't feel the sun itself is not beating on you. And that in itself is a warning. If you're burning and you're in the sun, you will generally start to feel the burn a little bit faster than you will feel the burn that's building up when it's cloudy.
Right.
And so being in a cloudy situation, you're still going to get burned. You just don't feel it right away. When you get home in the shower, watch out.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to hit you. So, Doctor, thank you. Always very informative. And folks, I hope you pay attention to
much
some of
so.
this stuff. And Lee's going to post some good warning stuff on our Facebook page here too.
Yeah, I've
As
been posting
already.
it in the
Yeah.
comments right now. I mean, good. Thank you, Dr. Rose, because you got me looking
Oh, you're
at
very
this
welcome.
stuff.
Thank you for all the great questions.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for the answers. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, and this is before Memorial Day, so all of you guys have a great time, but stay
Thank
safe.
you.
You do the
It's
same.
gonna be
Thank you.
Memorial Day.
Same.
And yeah, we're going to celebrate with hot dogs, hamburgers, and watermelon and whatever else we can get for the beach. But
We're going to
be
stay off the
safe
roads.
and remember
Right.
what this whole Memorial Day deal is all
That's
about to
right.
begin with. All right.
That's
It
right.
ain't just about, it's to honor those who have gone before us.
I got to get out all my flag
Stuff.
pinnacle pinwheels and everything and decorate.
And speaking of that, let me segue real quick into Rolling Thunder chapter NC5. Their ceremonies begin Friday night. Paul
Levesque.
Levesque may be calling in
Good.
at some
Did we
point.
say goodbye to Dr. Rose?
We did.
Oh, we-
okay.
oh, I-
I,
Dr.
wish
Rose.
I didn't.
I
Thank you. I told her we'd see her next week. Yada, yada. Should you want me to replay it for you?
No, but I didn't know. But usually we go bye and click, and I didn't hear that. And I'm like,
The Rolling Thunder ceremonies begin Friday night
right.
with a vigil, and then I don't want to steal Paul's thunder. He has a hall of the
Yeah.
information, but they're going to be at New River Harley Saturday, and then they have the big bike run on
I'll
Sunday.
get the flyers out and
Yeah.
post those later today, early tonight about that. Going back to sunscreen, I'm glad y'all brought that up. I always thought that like when you got the SPF like 15, that meant you had to reapply it every 15 minutes. It goes up to 45. You had to
Where did
apply
you
every
get that?
45.
Where did you come up with that?
That's what I had once read. But listen,
On the
it said
internet.
it could. How do you know it wasn't posted by John Hopkins? Do you know?
Yeah.
Are you going to ridicule every time I say something
Yeah.
I read on
If
the
you
internet?
read it on the internet.
Because I believe everything I read on the internet. No, really, no,
She's voting
seriously.
for Biden.
SPF. That just stopped the show.
Wow.
15 blocks about 94% of the UVB rays. SPF 30 blocks about 97% of those rays, and SPF 45 blocks about 98% of the UVB rays. Sunscreens with higher SPF ratings block slightly more UVB rays, but none offer 100% protection. And it says you should reapply every 2 hours.
Okay,
So-
here, let me ask you a question, expert.
Sure. This is what John Hopkins says.
Which rays cause the burn? Just
I
the
haven't-
UV rays?
I have not delved into this. This is just about the difference between this sunscreen SPF ratings.
So only UV rays cause burn, right?
I wouldn't say that. No.
Well, why not?
The ultraviolet rays?
Yeah,
Yes,
ultraviolet.
you've got
I-
ultraviolet. Yes.
What's the B ray? Did you say B rays?
Yeah, she said the bees,
UVB?
UVB.
Let me see what.
those are the only ones that burn you.
No, this is talking about Rayford.
I'm asking because you brought it up. I
No,
want to
what's
know.
the difference between UVA versus UVB? Sunlight contains ultraviolet, which is UV, radiation, which consists of different types of rays. The types of UV radiation you're probably reading about in this article. Well, what?
What?
All right. Let's go to WebMD. I don't like Copilot. UVA and UVB rays are different types of form of energy called ultraviolet radiation, commonly seen as sunlight. Both UVA and UVB rays can cause harm to the skin, but there are some benefits available from UVA and UVB rays. Making sure you protect your skin you can lessen the risk of harmful exposure of T rays. UVA and UVB rays differ by how strong their energy is. They enter the skin differently. Your skin has 3 layers. Are we going to get medical here? What am I just?
I'll just tell y'all, go to the pool and don't worry about the sunlight. If you go at 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll be fine.
Exactly.
Turn your lights
UVB
on.
rays have slightly more energy than UVA rays. I'm just going to put the link on here if y'all want to read it.
Then y'all can interpret it any way you want.
Good.
Don't go in the ocean at 3 in the morning.
No.
Please.
No.
Well,
Where's that picture of that hand?
we know even on a cloudy day you can get sunburned.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
be vigilant.
when you were delivering, before you became postmaster and you were delivering, did you wear it?
No, because I only had one arm that was brown.
That's
Seriously? I
You
had
know
one
what?
arm that was darker than
Before the
being out
days
like this.
of car air conditioning,
Mhm.
some of us remember that. If you don't believe, my left arm was much darker because it was outside the window, leaning up there. So I had the window down, my arms up there, and
Well,
it was always darker than the right arm.
All we mailmen, and we had
Mailmen?
mailmen. It's just postmen.
How do you have a male man?
Anyway, we
I thought
are
all males were men.
we all had redneck suntans.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
We had redneck suntans.
Unless you wear a pith helmet like one of our
No, see, I didn't have to do that, and I don't like wearing hats.
If you want to see something interesting, watch a PGA event, golf.
Mhm.
And the golfers, when they're taking off their hats, from the forehead is all white. The rest of their skin, even though they put lotion on, it's brown. You know what I'm saying? Well, how does it eventually fade into one color?
Makeup.
Okay.
And that's another thing, reading makeup will not necessarily, even if it's got sunscreen in it, keep you from burning.
Did the lady on Goldfinger, did she have to worry about it when she got painted? What? Does body paint? You know, there's this
Let's
body
go back to
tattoos.
UVA
This
and
body paint is a big deal in a lot of places. You know.
You're talking about tattoos.
No,
No.
body paint. Literally body painting. Artists do body painting on people, and they actually walk around with nothing but a layer of paint on them. You've never heard of that?
No.
Yeah, the Bike Week in Myrtle Beach is
okay.
infamous for it. But anyway, in all seriousness, you can't see beneath the paint, so there's nothing illegal to be displayed, right?
One would.
it is covered,
It's a
and it
very-
doesn't say
yeah,
it
It's
has
a very thin layer.
Yeah.
it
but it's
doesn't say
there.
it has to be with clothes.
Body by Sherman Williams. During the Vietnam War, almost 9 million Americans served in our U.S. military. About a third of those who served were stationed at one time or another during that period of time in Vietnam. About 2.7 million all total. In March 1973, the last combat troops were pulled out of Vietnam, more than a half century ago. A headline making the rounds today: Vietnam veteran accused of murder in a North Carolina vacation town. It's a tragic story, one that is tough to read, tough to understand. 75-year-old Terrell Eugene Giddens is accused of fatally shooting Jeffrey Michael Guida, 40, last October while Guida was driving with his three daughters, ages 2, 11, and 13, in the back of a Jeep Wagoneer in Lake Norman. It all started as a road rage incident. God, I hate to even hear that. Eyewitnesses told authorities at the time that they saw both men get out of their vehicles and then Giddens shoot the victim. Eyewitnesses also reported seeing the shooter fire multiple rounds into the victim's vehicle where the three girls were sitting. They were not hurt. Thank God. According to police, Giddens drove home after the shooting, put his clothing in a trash bag, and changed into new clothes. He took his kayak to the Lake Norman shore, paddled into the lake, and disposed of the trash bag and his rifle. It's a tragic story, one that ticks off every normal person, and it should. There's little information about the road rage. That doesn't seem to even matter why, and it doesn't. It should not have to matter why. What this man is accused of doing, if guilty, should put him away forever. Even if he is found guilty and sentenced to die, he'll die of natural causes before the death sentence can be carried out, and that sucks, to be honest with you, because you all know me, you know what I think. Here's what's irritating. This man is one of 2.7 million Americans who went to Vietnam, and that for some reason warrants it becoming part of the news headlines. That war ended in 1973. We pulled out. He served 2 years there from 69 to 71. 2 years. He also worked for 36 years at General Motors, but nowhere in this headline does it mention General Motors retiree charged with road rage incident that killed a man. What? No, that's not mentioned. Vietnam veteran. He served 24 months of his entire life in Vietnam, 2 years in the military, 13 months in Vietnam as a tank commander. Why is the time that he spent in Vietnam as a tank commander more significant than his time building cars? Why do you bring this up? 2.7 million people serve their country in Vietnam. He does have a criminal record. He was convicted of a misdemeanor damage to personal property value of less than $200 9 years ago. But Vietnam veteran, he's 75 years old. This is 2025. He was there from 1969 to 1971.
There is no justification. I'm with you. There's no General Motors.
You cannot. I can't explain it.
No, you. So
Postmaster arrested. Mailman delivery guy arrested for what? Why?
Well,
if it's relevant, it's relevant. But
Monday night, so when the county commissioners meet, they open the doors at 5:30. So you got people in line and talking, and there was a gentleman with the VFW state, with the state, Daniel, a very nice gentleman. He was talking to Kathy, and he was talking about how a lot of the things that they ingested had cocaine based in it. And that's why these Vietnam veterans came back addicted to things like that. I don't know why the media has to key on either it's Vietnam veteran or just their military. Mm-hmm. But even locally, if you think back to some of the stories,
they do the same thing about cops.
Yeah.
A retired cop arrested for. Yeah, that's the way the headline is going to read.
Right.
Well, Lee, how long did it last when the postal worker
went postal?
Yeah,
which how long did that last? And everything got blamed on. They went, quote.
Oh yeah, for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and that's just something that somebody threw out there, the term going postal. But the post office didn't have any more violent random acts as most anybody else. But for a while there, it was like always the post office people talked about.
Well,
It
okay.
wasn't,
They
but-
never mentioned. I'd never have read one story except locally in Colorado. I forgot that we owned at one time, the company I worked for owned a TV station. I think it was in Boulder. You know, one idiot came in there and opened fire. One of the employees brought a gun in and opened fire and killed people.
Well, they've had it.
But that was never at TV, television.
Right.
He wasn't a reporter. He was an engineer. Television employee opens fire and kills people.
Yeah, here it is right here. It says, in common parlance, for one to go postal has generally meant to, for one, who wrote this? To lose their temper and violently
It's
react to
lying.
stories of stress, typically those in the workplace. While this has led to the supposition of postal workers as being susceptible to such outbursts with references to it in the media, such as Brooklyn Nine-Nine, remember that show, and Seinfeld. But in fact, let me see, from 1970 to 1997, postal workers killed more than 40 people in the workplace across the United States. And it's not good to know. And as most of these atrocities were isolated incidents, there was no reason to believe that the working conditions postal workers are routinely faced with were a contributing factor.
From what I recall reading on a couple of the cases, it was they were ticked off with management because for whatever reason. I mean, people get ticked off with management, but everywhere. You think I had everybody that thought I was an angel? No. All but one did, but some of them wanted to make me an angel, I think is what it would have been. But no, seriously, you're not going to make everybody happy. It's how you deal with whatever hand that you're dealt.
Mm-hmm.
That's all on you. It's not on your situation.
Here's some stats right here from Statista. Workplace shootings in the United States by victim count and this was updated 2024. The El Paso Walmart mass shooting, that was a total of 48 people injured.
Who did that?
And that was by...
Was he a Vietnam veteran?
I think I have to go in and look. San Bernardino mass shooting where 14 fatalities, 21 injured, a total of 35. Atlanta day trading spree killings, 9 fatalities, 13 injured, 22 total.
Mm-hmm.
United States Postal Service shooting, 15 fatalities, 6 injured, and 21 total. So, and it goes to a huge, long row of workplace violence.
Okay, we have somebody coming in with a critter, right?
Yes, we
sooner
do.
or later.
She
Brown?
was the traffic was at a stall near Bear Creek, so she should be
Really?
here any
Traffic in
minute.
Onslow County?
Before the cuties come in, the cat, I think it's cat today, right?
I think it's going to be a cat.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Could be a lion.
But was that written by a newspaper source, or was that written by an attorney looking for something for his client to
Oh,
go?
the attorney took
Oh.
advantage of the original
Oh.
headline, and then the
Of
attorney
course.
grabbed him and said, this guy served faithfully. He was a veteran. He was served in Vietnam. Yada, yada. Then he was going to try to use that because he had already gotten the headline. And the
Okay.
headline came out the day or the next day or whatever
Right.
after the incident.
Well, here's another survey, and this is what ABC News put out. Workplaces are the most common mass shooting sites.
School
Yes.
where there's no guns allowed.
There was one in Louisville, Kentucky, at a bank,
No guns allowed.
The Violence Project is a nonprofit, nonpartisan
You don't see
research
many of
center.
those in gun stores, do you?
Nope. No.
No.
You don't see many of those at a cop station, do you?
Who
You don't
would
see
be
many of them in a
crazy
donut
enough?
shop, do you?
No.
Why? Because there are cops there all the time. No, seriously. The gun-free zones are where so many of these
Wow.
things happen.
You know,
Here's some really interesting information. Data on workplace-related mass shootings. Most common days are Wednesday and Thursdays.
Oh, what's today?
Most common month, December. Using only one gun was 42%, using two, 25%, using three or more, 33%.
Mhm.
those that committed suicide, those that were suicidal before doing the shooting were 17%. Suicidal after they committed the shooting was 57%. Leaked plans, 47%. Motivation, employment issue, 70%.
Wow.
Economic issue, 13%. A legal issue, 13%. And interpersonal conflict, 23%. So employment issue was the number one reason.
Okay,
Wow.
we lost somebody near and dear to my heart. Norm. From Cheers.
Where everyone knows your name.
Mm-hmm.
George Wendt, an actor with an everyman charm who played the beer-loving barfly Norm. Do you remember what his character's last name was? Anybody?
Norm. Oh, God. Oh, I know it. Norm. Wait a minute. Let me Google.
Now you got to Google it.
I don't know.
How about Peterson?
That's it. Norm Peterson.
He's 76 years old, and he went to sleep and did not wake up.
Well,
I don't know of any other issues with him, medical issues. That didn't say anything about it. And yes, he will be missed forever, as was quoted by just so many people. I said he was a family man too in real life, a well-loved friend and a confidant to all of those lucky enough to have ever known him. That's what the family put out in the statement. Good. Now I agree. You know, he was a supporting actor. He got 6 straight Emmy Award nominations for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series from 1984 to 1989.
You know, that was such a wonderful show.
It was, I mean, everybody knew the music. You didn't have to say that it was on. You just, it's kind of like MASH. You knew the music right up front.
Yeah. And his favorite friend was a postal worker.
Yes.
You know, Normie? Normie, yeah, you know.
And he was in there in uniform.
Yeah.
And then along was later in life came along Woody Harrelson and Kirstie Alley, and I guess Kelsey Grammer came. He was not in the original stuff. He came along later on.
I love Frasier.
Oh, I do too. I haven't got through all the series yet.
I still watch it.
Taking my time. I'm divvying them up. I'm relooking them all.
Okay, because
and I'm doing them in order.
Just recently, he was co-starring with the actress who played Deborah Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond.
I never saw that.
They were
it
didn't go very far.
I never really cared for the show, but then it was a couple years ago. I sat down and there was really nothing on TV, and I said, meh, and I turned it on. That is a funny show. I was so wrong about it. I really enjoyed it. And Charlie brought up Patricia Heaton.
That's it. That's who it was. Yes. That's the actress. So her and Kelsey did a show together here recently.
Yeah. Here's some fun facts that I learned this morning that George Wendt died peacefully, as Rayford said, exactly 32 years to the day of the last airing of Cheers.
May 20th, 1993.
Wow.
To the day.
years.
How crazy is that?
That's you know.
And do you know the
ironic.
last episode of Cheers was watched by over 80 million people?
It's kind of like
Super Bowl.
that Dallas show series.
Dallas.
Yeah. Who Shot JR?
Who Shot JR?
Oh God, everybody knew that.
Tony
that one.
Hagman.
And go back a little bit further. The Fugitive, looking for the one-armed man.
Yeah.
Fugitive.
And
yeah.
a movie. But and George did a guest appearance on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, did he?
And he was playing a Chicago Bears fan. The Bears.
The
Bears. And it had some kind of fake mustache.
cool.
on
He
it.
spent 6 years in Chicago's renowned Second City Improv Troupe before sitting on a bar stool at the place where everybody knows your name. Didn't have high hopes, he said, when he first auditioned for Cheers. He said his agent told him, "It's a small role, honey. It's one line. Actually, it's one word. The word, beer. I was having a hard time believing," he said, "I was right for the role of the guy who looked like he wanted a beer. So I went in and they said, it's too small a roll. Why don't you read this other one? And that was for a guy who never left the bar. Well, guess what? Pretty much what happened there.
Yeah, they played a clip last night.
He had a stool.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't you sit there and you go get more. I remember one episode, he walked in and he just stopped. Somebody was on his stool. And it didn't stay there very long. The guy didn't know the difference, but the guy was informed very quickly.
Yeah.
Get up or get out.
Yeah, and Ted Danson is still acting
Yes.
now. I think there's rumors back then that he had a toupee.
Well, I think that's pretty true.
Really? Because now he's got all that white hair.
Well, they come in different colors. But
Not for me.
I mean, but I get that Lonco stuff. I knew somebody who did that. Did you know that? I had a meteorologist who did that because he was with the high angle camera when they take a back shot. He got up there and he said, I can't have that.
Okay.
All righty.
So at the county commissioners meeting, and they're doing the moment of silence and
Yeah.
things like that. And there was television crews there and stuff. They aired it, and it's just picks up on the bald spot in the back of my head, which is fine.
I don't care.
My dad had it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all going to have it if you live long enough, I think.
I don't think Lee will.
What?
You're not going to have a bald spot.
Good. Let's not even go
the
there.
heck
No, we said,
is-
well, you won't. You won't.
What is a vampire breast lift?
How did we get here?
I scrolled down from this story on Norm, and here's one of the commercials that's down here. I'm like, really? And so I'm like, it says, here's how much the vampire breast lift
Oh, it's a
costs.
non-surgical
Oh, you looked it up.
method to enhance. We'll just say to
You
enhance.
looked it up?
Yes. I was curious. The vampire part on me.
That's what I'm like, where did that come from?
It's-
I know what vampires do.
It's to enhance the shape, the firmness, and the cleavage.
Everything you wanted to know about any topic,
Just tune in.
Vampire.
nothing is beyond us. We'll do
Okay.
anything, whatever
Hey,
you want to know.
And going back to Ted, he did have a bald spot, and he would wear a little hair piece, but he's not entirely bald.
Oh, okay.
So now getting back to the vampire stuff. Oh my gosh.
I'm looking.
While y'all are doing that, can I mention something that
You were
really
talking
was?
about the county commissioners meeting. We kept interrupting.
Oh, no. It was about my bald spot.
Oh,
That's
he
what the,
took care of that.
that was it. But something we haven't talked about was the escape of those prisoners
Nolan?
in New Orleans
I know,
that were
every-
assisted.
Every
By
day
a
I go home and
jailer,
say,
a jail employee who said, "Oh, they threatened me.
They
I was
threatened
afraid."
me
Oh,
with
bull.
makeshift.
Shank.
Yes.
Well, what you got to do? All you got to do is say, "Hey, guard, these dudes are planning an
I
escape."
want to know
They'd be
how
gone.
they escaped through a toilet hole in the wall. Now, are they really that big of a hole?
Well, the district attorney said he'd like to know why, when it happened at 1 a.m., the public wasn't informed at 1:05.
What the heck?
But they said it took 7 hours before they noticed they were missing.
What was it? 10 of them? How many got
Yeah, I
out?
It was 10 total,
10.
and I think
They got 5
now,
of them now.
Yes, that was the
As of
latest
last
one.
night.
But the one that's the murderer, he's still out, I think.
I don't know.
Oh,
They all have terrible records.
Oh, yeah.
Bad
Well, they're in jail
records,
for
yeah.
some reason or another. Let's see
Yeah.
what.
But they were
Oh.
saying the cell doors were bad, and
Yep.
It's a local jail. It's not a prison. It's 5th of 10 escaped New Orleans inmates who were recaptured. What is the latest on that?
Oh, the sheriff.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Sheriff
well, it's New
Oaks.
Orleans, so
She takes
y'all
full
been there.
accountability. Have
Well,
you
good.
seen her do news conference?
Yeah.
Did you see the green glasses she was wearing? I mean, it was like watching a segment from the Green Lantern or something. I'm like, how can you take
Well, you were
this?
so critical, fashion-wise.
If you
Yeah.
saw this, they were big box green glasses that glowed on screen. I swear they were glowing. They're like
Well,
neon.
I mean, it's nice she took accountability for it.
Well, she's got to. It
Yeah.
always starts at the top.
Corey Boyd, he's 19. There was the fifth one recaptured. He's accused of killing a guy during a car burglary in 2024. Oh my! Ooh, y'all send some small people to get some of these guys. Carry big guns when you do
Yeah,
that.
they range in age
Literally
from 19 to 42 and face a variety of charges, including aggravated assault, domestic abuse, battery, and murder.
And so now you add,
Somebody hung up before I could get to the phone.
and so now you add escaping from prison.
Oh yeah,
Which
jail,
is-
jail escape.
Is that
All
that's a felon,
Who do we have?
felony, right?
Yes,
So
Charlie.
they're all
Some
in
more
there under
time.
foreign felonious charges.
Yeah.
So who knows? One of them facing illegal carrying of weapons, possession of a gun by a felon, obstruction of justice. Another one faces second-degree murder, aggravated battery, possession of a gun by a felon, domestic abuse involving strangulation, theft of a motor vehicle, and parole violation. At least he didn't have a gun. Another one, 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder. 3 counts. Oh my. 2 counts of second-degree murder and battery of a correctional facility employee. Whoops. Leo Bombardi faces charges of simple burglary of an inhabited dwelling, possession of a gun by a felon. You know what? It's not the problem with the guns. It's that we let these bad guys get away with having them. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, are you guys talking about the 10 inmates?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Now, the comment about the green glasses cracked me up. Do you guys remember? Listen, people always say, "Hey, Charlie, how old are you?" I go back to TV from the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I study all of it. Do you guys remember who Charles Nelson Riley is?
Yes.
Was?
Yeah.
Goes to Mrs.
Yes.
That's who. Excuse me. That's who the spokesperson was with the green glasses on.
Yeah.
This person is.
Oh, Lord.
Absolute character. You would think at some point in her career, someone would say, "Listen, you're in a position of authority. You're going to make $200,000 per year. You don't want to wear these oversized 99-cent store glasses. You want to be, you want to express yourself, but you want to come across as someone that demands respect."
Yeah.
The
This
thing
is really
is, Charlie, people like that can't get noticed any other way than to do something so outrageous.
I agree. And the reason why is like when my husband and I owned an armed security guard service. And so we dressed in a regular uniform.
Mhm.
It was very similar in colors to what JPD did at the time. But I always took my hair and stuck it up in a bun,
Right.
wore very little makeup, did not wear hardly any jewelry because you want to play the part. I remember one time I had hired a woman and I had put her, I think it was over at the bowling alley because we had to do security over there. And I went in there and she was wearing stiletto boots, bob earrings, had on bright red lipstick. And I said, "No." And I said, "You can go. I'll take over." And then the next day I told her, I said, "No, you can't dress like that when you're in uniform." And you're right, Charlie, this police chief or whoever she was
Sheriff.
the sheriff, yeah. When I saw, I couldn't even take her seriously looking at her.
Well,
It was like a clown show, and I don't mean to be disrespectful.
it's just accurate.
Can I ask you guys a very quick question?
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
when you brought that up, I cracked up. So why wouldn't you guys pop up a picture of her on screen?
I can't do that right now.
Yeah, okay, I'm just saying. Okay, are you guys bringing animals in?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
It's animal time.
All right, I'm going to hang up. I'm looking
Okay.
forward to the animal
Thank
segment.
you.
Have a good day, Charlie.
Charlie likes critters like we do. Offshore today, after 20 nautical miles, winds out of the south 10 to 15 knots, becoming southwesterly 15 to 20 with a gust of 25 this afternoon. 3 to 4 footers, building to big 4 to 6 in the afternoon. Get out there early. Plan to come home early. Sounds and rivers are moderate chop, but they're going to get really choppy this afternoon. Tomorrow, northwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon, coming down a little bit. Seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers are moderate chop. And on Friday, we're going into the weekend and on a high note, okay? Looking pretty good. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. You got weather?
Oh, yes, I do.
The weather is kind of fluffy over there.
These
That's what it
raining
is.
puddles of kitties. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, cloudy, then gradually becoming mostly sunny with a high near 90. South winds 7 to 13 miles per hour, becoming west in the afternoon. Winds gust as high as 21. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 64. Thursday, sunny with a high near 84. And Friday, sunny with a high near 79. Oh, we all get one.
I'll get
Oh
one.
my God.
Oh, I'm going to have two kitty
Everybody.
cats up there. They're going to be so jealous.
They are dog friendly.
I got two
Yeah.
dogs, three dogs up there right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I'm just
and two
saying.
kitty cats.
Wait a minute. Is there another one in there?
There's not. I only brought 3.
Okay. I
What
think
did
that
I
might
just
be
hear?
mine. I think that might be
Oh.
mine.
It must have come through my headphones. I was like,
That was, I think, right here.
You want to say hello?
Well, hey, Charlie, this is what you really do, buddy. If you're watching,
all
I
right,
hope
everyone
you're watching
watching.
this.
This is Vicki Brown. She's from Adoption First Animal Rescue. She's been our regular every month now.
Yes,
Oh.
thank you guys.
good gracious sakes.
So I will be honest. I'm not I'm a little bit allergic to cats, so I don't do much with the cats. So I
Aw.
don't know who is who, but they will be ready for adoption soon. It's Alice, Hatter, and Cheshire. They are part of our Alice in Wonderland
Which
litter.
one do I have?
I
One of them.
You have one of them. I think that one might be Alice.
Hey, Alice.
Yes.
I had a cousin named Alice.
So they're about 8 weeks old now.
You like that, huh?
And how did these come into the rescue?
These ones they came in as just kind of intakes. We've been working with Onslow County because it's kitten season.
She has
And-
claws,
Yes,
Yeah.
and
yes.
she's extended them.
Yeah.
It's all right. No.
Let her sit on your
Let
back.
her-
You're
let her
always
just
wanting to
I
scratch.
know that'd be great. You can scratch my back. Okay, babe. I got you.
So it's raining kittens at the moment.
Mhm.
We have quite a few that are available.
Okay, folks. If you come on by here, you can fill out the. Is that yours?
That's mine.
Okay. You can fill out the papers right now if you come on by here.
You totally can. You
And,
totally
Cat's trying
can.
to tell you
Then after I
something.
do my
I
ground
know.
check on you and make
Yeah,
sure
like you.
you're
That's
not
it.
wanted anywhere, and I explain the facts of life and death to you. But anyway, yeah. Oh my goodness gracious,
Oh, this one is just so sweet.
they all are
Oh,
sweet.
so sweet. She, oh.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. She's taking a stroll.
Yeah.
That is not a parrot.
No,
You're not a pirate.
He's scared, Chris.
No, he's not scared.
Yes, you should see the look on his
Oh,
face.
come here.
It's like I'm scared.
Hey.
They do have those kitten claws.
Oh, they will hold
Oh,
that
Me
too.
too. I'm feeling it right now on my leg.
I did a lot there.
Oh,
Come here, buddy.
But
Okay.
Adoption First Animal Rescue, like I said, is, we have them on our show every month, bringing in different little fur babies. Usually it's puppies. Today
Usually
it's kitties.
puppies. Today's
And I-
it's
because
kitties.
The only thing that I put a restriction on, and I told Lee about it, snakes.
You're safe with me.
Yeah.
I have an unhealthy fear of them. You are
Well, it's not a
A-okay.
fear of them. I just remove life from their bodies.
Yes. Nope. You are perfectly safe with me. It's
Okay.
not happening.
I've got the radio. I've got the Radio Star one.
Okay.
You do.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, was born to be on the talk show.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
Charlie wants a kitty.
All right, Charlie, I got your kitten right here, Bubba. Are you there?
So I'm going to say this right now. This is going to be one of the most profound things all of you are ever going to hear. Okay, you ready for this?
You like it?
So here's exactly how to end the killings of millions of dogs and cats and other animals. There needs to be a federal law where you're not allowed to breed animals, you're not allowed to sell animals. It has to be going to the state, and it can only be run by the state. Every animal that's released from a shelter must be spayed or neutered. If
That's
you're caught
what happens
selling a
here.
dog, maybe a $10,000 fine. It has to end. All these animals are being killed. We can easily end this. And I wish there was a politician that would just say, listen, you want me to fight for crime, you want me to fight for better streets, I'm going to fight for animal rights. And you could end it immediately.
I got a
It's a
feeling,
joke.
Charlie, if we had a politician in here right now, we'd lock the doors and they just sit here with us with these little
Yes.
kittens, and they would agree with you 100%. And we might even get something
But
done if
nothing's
we
going
did
to
that.
happen. No, in the United States today, there's probably going to be 10,000 cats killed.
It likes you.
Yeah. And what the good thing is here about adoption first, and Vicki, let's just tell Charlie, he's out there on the West Coast.
Yes.
Let's tell Charlie all about adoption first, along with other people. Charlie, you need to listen to this, okay?
Yeah, so we work closely with our county shelter and surrounding counties because North Carolina, especially our area, has very limited resources as far as what is available to the county shelters. So we spay and neuter, obviously, that is our big drive. We not only spay and neuter the animals that come through us, but we have a low-cost clinic, and actually this year we're going to hit our 20,000 mark for spay and neuters. Now, mind you, we have one vet on staff, so that's pretty amazing.
But they save them, they neuter them, they spay them, and then they find homes for them.
And then we also have a TNR program for the ferals in the county, where we offer low-cost spay and neuter, but we also worked with Pause for Purpose and Onslow County, where we will take the feral mamas and spay them and the daddies and neuter them. If they have kittens that are friendly or that we have fosters that are able to socialize them, then we will do that. We'll go ahead and fix them, vaccinate them, socialize them, and adopt them out so that they're not put back out as ferals.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Charlie, if you send me a first-class ticket on Delta, I'll be there with all three of them
Yep.
today.
Hey, let me ask you a question. My last question. I think you said that the cats are dog friendly. How did you know they're dog friendly?
So we have a facility that is licensed with kennels that we're open 7 days a week. But we also are a foster-based rescue. So most of our cats and dogs go into foster homes. If they're not in a foster home their entire duration with us, they're in that home for a good portion. So we get to learn about them.
They intermingle.
Yes. So we can actually see how they are at home. So when we say dog friendly, it's not like, oh, they just saw a dog and didn't react. They're actually in a home, and we know if they're playful, standoffish, if they enjoy them, don't enjoy them. So all of our dogs and cats get that, which is wonderful.
Hey, guys, I have one last thing that I'd like to say.
Ouch. Yes, go ahead.
So we all know that there are senior citizens out there.
Yep.
Some of them, they live alone. Some of them would like companionship. But if they got a cat or a dog, they can't afford the veterinary bills, correct?
Yep.
Sometimes that's the case.
Wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't it be wonderful if the states, instead of wasting billions of dollars on homeless people that they can't account for all that money, if they set aside maybe $2 billion where they said, listen, if you're over a certain age, you can take a cat or a dog, and if your cat or dog gets sick, we're going to pay those bills for you. Do you know how many people would open up their doors for that?
It's a great concept, and if we just do away with the illegal aliens, all the money that we waste on illegal aliens in this country, we'd be done. We'd be good to go.
So I do have, it's not a solution, but for that, an outstanding option for that is to foster.
Oh, yeah.
Because with our rescue and most rescues that are foster-based completely cover all food, medical supplies, things like that. I like to foster older dogs because the way our household is set up, I foster dogs as old as 13. We have puppies. If puppies are your thing, we have mamas. We have kittens. We have senior cats. We have great animals that will fit anywhere in your life, and you can enjoy that.
And they take care of the bills, Charlie.
All the bills and the food. All the food, all the medical. Sometimes we have like dogs that need a little specialized training. We have trainers that volunteer with us, leashes, everything the animal needs, we take care of. So that is an option.
Yes, go ahead, Charlie.
So if somebody fosters a dog, let's say they have the dog for 6 weeks, they fall in love with the dog, and they don't want to give the dog back, but they have a limited income. Is there any sort of program where if the dog, ends up in the hospital where people are going to help them, or is it just, it's on them?
So there are programs out there, especially in the Facebook world. I do belong to a vet group that has resources for grants and things like that, financial resources. And, we work with the county and within our clinic. We do low-cost days where they can come in, get all their annual stuff, things like that at a really affordable rate. And of course, once the biggest expenses typically in the beginning to spay and neuter.
Yep.
So if you adopt them and it's completely done, like Onslow County Animal Shelter just had reduced adoptions, $80 for dogs, $50 for cats. They're spayed, chipped, neutered, everything
they
you
got
need.
a full vet bill taken care of.
Completely taken care of. Yeah. So, there are definitely options.
What's that nice lady's name again?
Vicky Brown. Vicky.
And
Hey,
if,
Vicky, you do a great job. I think it's really cool. It's a very unselfish, I think that's the word, job that you do. You can tell that you really love the animals. And I think it's
she
great that
does.
they have a voice like you in their life. So with that, have a good day.
Thank you.
Charlie. And you just said something that I had a thought when you said it.
yeah.
Finally, something decent about Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have now found one thing that is worthwhile on Facebook.
Well, listen,
may be more.
you and I need to be Facebook friends then, because there's a lot going on worthwhile. There's a lot to dig through, but there is a lot.
You send it, I don't go looking.
Okay, I'll send it. But yeah, no, there is quite a bit. We have a lot of fun resources there. And another option I didn't get to say is our pet food pantry. We have our free pet food pantry. We have it located at the rescue. You can come in 5 days a week. Anybody can come in and get food for their pet. But we also have started opening satellite locations. So we have one at Savvy's Pet Lodge in Hubert. We actually just set up at the Brown Derby in Jacksonville across from New River. Again, we want to reach the community where they're at.
Yep.
So people kind of were a little surprised with the Brown Derby, but you know what? We have a shelf. It's self-serve. You walk in. You can go in there 7 days a week from 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. So you don't have to worry. A lot of people who are struggling to feed their pets, are catching rides or trying to figure out how they can get somewhere to get the food. So we tried to make it the most convenient possible.
Okay. Does the Onslow and Jacksonville public transit systems, do they allow you to take it?
No, that was the quiet one. What are y'all
I make
Somebody
them.
squeeze the kitty cat.
No, I make them extroverts.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
brings out their personality.
Squalling like the kitty cat. Oh, anyway, yeah, okay, but do the transit systems allow you to take your pet if you're going to a place like that? or do they
That's
know?
a good question.
We're gonna
I don't
find
know.
out.
I think that would be good to find out.
Lee, we will find out, won't you?
Yes, these are.
You
what
listened
do
to the
they
word
call
there,
them?
didn't you?
Well, I've got this one calmed down now. Chris scared it.
I
so
didn't
bad.
scare it.
He's purring.
He's an
He
extrovert.
purring.
Extrovert.
No,
Hey, you're,
this is that kitty that just needed extra special cuddling.
Okay, guys, let's hold them up. The cameras are over there.
There you go.
You see this? How can you, you're looking for a kitten? Oh my goodness gracious, look. Hello.
I've got one more cool thing I brought with me.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh. It's
Not
not
a snake.
living.
Oh, this probably I can hold up without hurting. Or
This one shouldn't squeal.
Make it-
I mean, if it squeals, we
It
have
won't
a problem. So
Yeah.
this here, that's front and back, is through Onslow County Animal Services. They're working with
Nice.
Best Friends Pets. If you're interested in helping out, we are looking for people who can place these signs kind of around town, in their yards, things like that. And the purpose of this is you scan this QR code, say you found a dog or cat, lost one.
Oh, really?
This Petco Love is a nationwide database, and it is growing and growing, but it loads directly and connects directly with the Onslow County Animal Services page.
Okay, is that mine?
So you can, yes, it is. I even have a little stake in the
If you
car
don't have
for you.
one, I probably got one, but.
But
I'll sign this
I will. You
political
can.
sign.
Yeah, we can always get more. But yeah, so you just scan that. It takes you directly to the Petco Love website, and it gives you directions if you found an animal, what to do. It has a geographical location of where the animals are found. So
Excellent.
if you lost one, you're looking in a certain area, you can see who's found.
Okay, well, you need to go to
with
these,
pictures.
somebody needs to go to these sites that I keep hearing about,
Yeah.
neighborhood sites that they're always talking about lost kitty cats.
This connects with their data. It pulls from Nextdoor, the
Okay.
Ring app.
Got it. You already got
It
it.
all goes together.
Excellent.
So it's a
Already ahead of it.
really cool program. So you're not going 50 different places. Yep. So if anyone is interested in helping us out, getting the signage out, you can contact Onslow County Animal Control. The shelter site has it.
Meow,
Nice.
meow.
nice because every day you go on to social media and
Yep.
somebody's pet got loose and they're looking for their pet.
We're doing sound
We'll,
effects.
we'll let you see. Let everyone see your face again.
I
Very
just probably want to see the sign instead.
This
Lee's accusing me of.
it's like two of our cats.
Kitty
My wife
abuse.
gets them, and we call it. She calls them their cat hat because they get on the chair behind it and just lay right there on top. Just so sweet.
Actually, the cats I used to have were adopted. I adopted those.
Yeah.
And
So both of
dogs I
ours are
did.
rescued from the neighborhood. One from another place.
I
where
say
we
they
lived there,
picked you.
and they did.
Yes, they
And,
did.
The latest one I thought was a fox squirrel
want
running
switch?
across the porch.
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
how did Sam Hill get back there? It
And-
was a she, but
You like people to think that you're Walter with Jeff Dunham, that you take after
I am
Walter.
Walter. But I'm not Alf.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness, or I wouldn't be letting you hold that cat.
Absolutely
It'd
not.
be lunch.
No, that's right. You are three. You two, you don't even know who Alf was.
Oh, I love
Fill us in
that.
real
I do
quick.
too.
Amanda, Vicky.
Yeah,
I know I was looking at something said Amanda and I'm Vicky.
What?
What are the needs right now? What are y'all needing help in?
Kitten food, wet
Kitten food.
wet food, canned cat food,
And
fancy feast, kitten chow. But the wet food is really a huge need because not only do the kittens take it, but the moms that are pregnant or just had them because they need the extra
Yeah, they need this
calories.
stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you need to go to find your nearest, biggest box store that has them by the cases.
Yeah.
Go buy them by the case because these folks need them. Okay,
Yep.
we'll do that.
so you
Hey.
need, is it Purina Friskies? No, it's
Fancy free. Fancy
Fancy
feast.
feast.
Fancy
Fancy
feast.
feast.
I
Fancy
mean,
feast.
beggars can't be choosers. We will take any canned cat food. But yeah, Fancy Feast is what we use in house. And we try to keep the ones that are part of the rescue on the same food so their
Mhm.
little tummies don't get upset.
Right.
Some of you folks, we have to feed one of our dogs from our canned dog food, right? He's on some meds and stuff. You know these flip top cans things? Let me give y'all a hint. Forget about flipping that top. The stuff doesn't come out real easy.
No.
You got to spoon it out. Take your can opener and run it around there. Dump it upside down and shake it into a bowl. It comes out as one big piece, and you can cut it up into the proportions that you need.
Oh,
I found that out after I fought
The dog food is miserable
and had
to get out.
that had bad words to say, and I said, you know what, this is just ridiculous. So I took the can opener one time and I said, oh, this is easy. This is chump change. So just open it up like you would a regular can. Open it from the top. Don't go to the bottom. Open it from the top. Throw that little lid away. Wash it off first before you put it in your recycle bin.
Yes.
But then dump it out and cut it up into the proportions that you need. How's that sound?
Oh
You
my
good?
goodness.
Before you won,
She
you fought
is
the
just
can and the
watching
can
your
won.
every
It
move.
thought. It won. It did win for a while. It won the battle, a couple of them, but I got the war behind me. So,
All right.
come on, baby.
It was 4 times 30, 120. Okay.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
What you can
she's
look at?
doing cat food
She
math
wants
over
120
there.
cats. Is that
Well,
what
there's
she wants?
30 in a box, and Amazon has got them really a lot better price.
Oh,
And you can
okay.
ship them straight to the
That's
rescue.
what I'm going to
There
do.
you go.
Let me see. Did I?
And of course, since we are a nonprofit, it is tax deductible.
And a phone number for him?
Oh, let me look that
Uh-oh.
up.
I'm
Uh-oh.
sorry.
BR
that's
549.
Ah,
BR 549 Junior Samples. You can kick the tires on this old piece of junk car, and when they don't fall off, don't buy it. Or off the
Okay,
glass.
so our
Now,
number is 910-290-3795.
you notice how I stalled during that time?
You did.
Yeah.
You did
you
great.
did it very well. Junior samples went way back.
When I get home, but I'll send y'all some
Well, thank you.
cute food.
We will use it.
Yes.
These
Okay.
little cuties will use it.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I don't think they're going to
Easier
be
to
that
find the
long.
bigger
Oh.
boxes
Oh, no.
online than in the
Oh,
store.
they're ready
so-
for to go now, aren't they?
Yeah.
These ones will be ready in about a week.
About a week. Okay,
But we
come on,
have
get
plenty
your
more.
paperwork done because you better get in line.
And you know, we're open at the facility 7 days a week.
Mhm.
We're there 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then if you're out towards the Emerald Isle area, we have kittens at Pet Sense. So you can
Where?
Pet Sense in Cape Carteret,
Okay.
next to Lowe's Food there in that shopping
I
plaza.
know where it is.
Yep, you can adopt straight from there as well. So they have the hookup with our system where you can fill out the application and take your
Great.
cat home or your kitten home that day too.
Mhm.
And so they're there all the time.
I put them up there. Come here.
No, he's wanting to come back to you.
Okay, I would suggest that every person running for political office this year, go ahead and pay Vicky for one of these signs. I mean, you're going to put out
Yep.
signs. Put out one of these signs with every one of your signs.
Yes,
There you go.
yes.
How's that?
I
Or
know.
every other one, whatever. Do that.
Well,
Let's get this word out. y'all.
Yeah, it's an awesome program, and Onslow County has worked so hard to come so far. And there's
Yes.
still a lot of work to do, but my goodness, have they really been killing it lately?
I would say
It's
yes.
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Really proud
They
of our animal
secured
shelter.
more grants. They have now a dedicated foster coordinator to work these so they can continue to expand their foster program. So they really, it's interesting because we don't pull as much from Onslow County Shelter, and people are like, well, why don't you pull? Well, because they have such a fabulous network.
Good.
We have our surrounding counties need us more.
Yeah, you have been
I'm
pulling
glad to
from
hear that.
surrounding counties too, haven't
We
you?
have, because their euthanasia rates are so high, they're overcrowded, and unlike Onslow County, they work with rescues up and down the entire coast.
Mhm.
And then they have a foster program. They really have. It's growing, and it's come so far, and there's still more growth. But they really are developing a fabulous network that, like Duplin County and Wayne County, some of them don't even have an animal control division.
I know.
So there's really, really a need, and we will always help Onslow, of course. But if they say, "Hey, we're good," then that gives us the opportunity to help other counties that are really. We've gone from overflowing plethora to Onslow County has a really good handle on things most
Good.
days. Most days.
Only takes
Well-
one major deployment to change that too.
Well, they instituted their owner surrender program under their current shelter manager. It's also a database program. They submit a photo. They will actually send that information out to rescue partners before they intake the owner surrender.
Wow.
Because if they can help get that animal out of there and it doesn't come directly to the shelter, they will
Even better.
facilitate that. So it's been a lot of work on their part, but they're doing fabulous.
What a great story.
Oh, it's a wonderful story.
So one personal question I want to ask.
Sure.
How about Flower?
Oh my gosh.
Flower is getting
A prosthetic leg.
Remember
Oh,
the little
really?
My
flower
little
that she brought
three-legged
in?
wild child.
Oh, my
Yes,
goodness
there's
gracious.
an amazing company called 3D Pets that we're going to work with, and they use 3D printing and AI technology to develop it specifically for her and her gait. And I'm so excited. I can't wait for her to get it. It's
I
going
know,
to be a
such
game changer
precious
for her.
story. Precious. You did. She's like Chihuahua mix.
She is. She's a whopping 15
She
pounds.
had to have a leg taken off.
She did. And the cool thing about them is they developed it specifically for dogs like her. So she doesn't have a nub because it was
Right.
completely taken off. And so there is nothing to catch that prosthetic. So they build like a cage harness, but it's pliable with the 3D printers. And there's almost like a little box on the outside of it that the prosthetic fits into. So when she goes, because it's her front leg.
Yeah.
So when she goes down, that absorbs the shock and it's not going to cause more
amazing.
damage. It's phenomenal. And they have
It
elbow
is.
joints. I mean, it's amazing.
That's amazing.
It really
falling
is.
asleep on me.
Flower.
Yes. And naturally, it will be hot pink when they get it.
Yes.
Rayford's,
Well, you'll have to bring her in after she
Oh
gets
my
used
gosh,
to it.
yes.
That'll be cool.
your mouse that comes with your laptop. Rayford's over here playing with the cat, with
I
chasing
love it.
chasing the laser light.
When you raise it up, you get the little ring. Why? I used to have one of these for the
He's
kids.
having
You're
fun.
playing cat and mouse over
In
there?
the rescue world, we call this socialization. Thank
Mhm.
you, Ray, for volunteering for us to socialize
Oh,
the animals
fine.
today. We appreciate it.
I've got this one almost asleep.
And this one's just thinking about everything
Oh, This
here.
one's ready to play.
Oh yeah.
They have chubby
Oh.
little tummies.
They're
So
keyboard.
healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah, little
keyboard.
chubby tummies. So we got them. They were a lot smaller. We had to get them up to 2 pounds to be able to do their spay and neuters. So that's what we've been waiting on. So they're there. Now they're ready.
You can't go over there.
They are precious, and
That's right.
it was
Oh
a
my
nice
God.
change to have kitties in here.
Yes.
Rayford has, I think, a female secretary on his hands. She's over there typing on his
Yeah.
Texting
keyboard.
Robbie right now.
She can't type very well. I can tell you that right now.
I know this one just knocked everything off my computer, but it's okay.
This one's the watcher. This
can
one
work
is
Yeah.
you can work for a
absorbs
congressman, you can't
everything.
type.
She's really quiet and sweet.
That was mean, wasn't
I
it?
had this one purring a minute ago.
Well, that one misses me.
Oh,
Giving me
want a
little
bag?
nuzzles. Oh, little
Do you want to take this
kisses.
one home to Kathy?
This one's giving me kisses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They giving me kisses
Yes.
too. He was. I'm like,
Where are you
"Oh."
going?
I actually have one in there's a stray that hangs out at our house. And feed it.
You're not talking about you.
Now, Vicky, let me ask you. As far as I put your link on our social media for
Yeah.
anyone who's interested, clicking on and taking a look at it, you can stop by. Also, you're open
Yep.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. You can just stop in 11
Stop
a.m.
in.
to 5:30 p.m.
And to donate, go on their website there. It'll tell you
Yep.
all about it. Like I'm going to when I get home, is order off of Amazon to have it delivered straight to Adoption
Thank you,
Free, and
thank
that's
you.
at 118 Enterprise.
114.
114. I was close.
Yep.
Enterprise.
And sometimes the delivery addresses make you put drive. Sometimes it makes you put road. I don't know
I'll
why,
look
but
it up. Yeah.
it does. If it corrects you, it will get to
right,
us.
Right.
And then if you want to come out and support us and have fun, we do events. We actually have our bingo night coming up on the 31st.
Oh,
It's gonna be
that.
Yes, at the Northwoods Methodist Church.
Okay. I'll tell
Still
my sister.
tickets available.
Okay.
Should have worn red today because the blood wouldn't have.
She said, "Listen, you teased me with that mouse. Now here we go, buddy."
Well, she typed stuff over here and it wants me to click on stuff. It says open run as administrator, open file
Well, they're
location.
gonna do that.
She says, "As
Jesus,
administrator,
I
that's
don't
me."
She's really an You know what, Rayford? She's an FBI plant.
Yeah.
She's getting ready to go in there and scrub your computer.
Show her the X key.
Her little face.
Man, that's where all that came from. I don't know.
You're very interested, aren't you?
That one has the sweetest,
You're a little-
sweetest ever.
You're a little devil type.
Yeah, that one's a little spitfire over there.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, and I know, and I know. You just like, I want to be
You can
back
almost
in
fit
the
in my
cage
cup
with my
right there.
other
You know?
little buddies.
Hi.
And when you do adopt a cat or a
Right
dog,
off the keyboard.
they've already been spayed or neutered.
Yep.
Had the beginning of everything that they need.
Yep. So our kittens are $100, and they have everything they need, and they even come microchipped, which
You
is really
save
important
a
for
lot of
cats.
money.
People don't
It
think
is
about that.
really for cats.
But it is. I mean, it's super important for dogs. I will always say,
Well, the
microchip.
one-
But people don't think about the cats.
The one that we got us a couple of months ago, took it to the vet, no
Mm-hmm.
chip. But this cat was from a friendly home because this cat
Yeah.
came straight to me, got in my arms, no
Oh, yeah,
questions, was
sweet
not
kitty.
fearful, nothing.
Well, Rayford, let's just talk about that. Now, you had to there was a stray.
Oh, yeah.
You took in.
Oh,
You took it to the vet
Uh-huh.
and got it fixed
Everything.
and everything. And I'm sure that it was a lot more than $100.
second mortgage.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, so
What Robbie had to take out.
right. and I'm just here to say that rescues make the best pets.
Oh, yeah, they love being here.
They love you for taking them
she
in.
loves it.
Mhm.
And you love them even more because when you look in their eyes, you see that thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it's
mean-
just so entertaining.
Oh.
No matter how bad your day
Right.
was, when you get home, it's forgotten.
Oh yeah,
Who
I
cares?
agree with you
Yeah.
100. You know, I get excited about going home. I can't wait to see their faces when I open the door, especially with the newest
Well, I
one.
say
I
you've
have.
got twins.
Yes. Yes, I brought Jack in a couple weeks ago because I had to take him to an early vet. Next week I'll be bringing Paco in. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. 'Cause I have to actually go into the vet with him and stay with him until they put him under to do his teeth.
Yeah.
Because I took him in last week. he would not let them anywhere near him. He was so scared.
Oh,
Bless his
now
heart.
Paco, he was trapped. He was basically dumped on his own, and we had to use a trap to catch him. There was about 50 dogs is what we ended up with. Yep.
Wow.
So that's what Lee actually fostered him.
Foster failure.
Fell in love, couldn't let him go.
He is classic. You want to talk about a crazy, entertaining, loving dog. He is just whew.
Paco is the one that likes to let you know when there's things going on outside the house.
That's
Right.
Jack.
Oh, that's Jack.
They just
is
say
the
it was similar.
Yes.
I got a house full of those.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
The mailman,
Jack is the one that you hear
Okay.
barking. Yes.
car turns on the street down the block.
Oh.
They hear it.
The only
From
time
here.
Paco barks is at the cat because he loves to antagonize the cat. It is so funny, those two. But the love of a foster, the love of a rescue is something that you just, if you love animals, you really need to rescue and adopt.
And all mine, I had 4, all lived to be at least 14 years old.
Yeah.
Well, my first rescue cat is 19 now.
Wow.
Yes. My cat's probably 14 right now. Still going strong. Just went to the vet and had his dental work done. But my last dog passed away last year, and she was 17 going on 18. And before that, my basset hound was like 15. So you treat them right.
Yeah.
You make sure they get the medical that they need. Keep up their, their appointments and their, their yearly visits.
Yeah.
And you feed them well. And you take good care of them. You show them lots of love, and they'll be with you forever.
They show you lots of love.
Yes.
Look at those
so I do.
eyelashes.
She is a
That's my
cutie.
grandmother's eyelashes. They were just about that long.
Where you going? Where you going? This one wants to explore.
Mhm.
There you go. See, you
Oh,
can
he's
sit
going
just
back to
like
Chris.
That's right.
Oh no, he wants to
Oh.
go to Rayford now.
That's where the toy was.
Oh, look at there. Actually, she's looking for a way to get down. That's what she's
Uh-huh.
looking for. Come here, baby. Come here.
Okay, now
They're
that,
precious,
Vicky,
Vicky. I'm
thank
so glad
you
you're
again.
back.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
So if you folks, if
Vicky's gonna have a problem.
you want it, just go over there and,
I'm a
sit down and take a
professional
look, see
pet wrangler. I got
Vicky.
this.
And your hours again are
7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
so 11:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. every day
Or
of
I
the week,
lie, 11 a.m. to
11
5:30
a.m.
p.m.
and that's at 118
114.
114
I knew that.
Enterprise Drive,
114 Enterprise Drive,
Jacksonville.
just off of Western Boulevard.
right behind Onslow Audio.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right
So-
there in that behind, right when you see Saigon Sam, it's back. The next
Yeah.
street is Enterprise. So.
And we're working on our Fraser's Forest and our Memorial Gardens, which our goal is to have a rainbow bridge built
Oh.
and have it open to the public. So you'll be seeing that soon. And we have a Girl Scout troop that's going to start with the rocks, but where people can paint rocks. And we would love to have them
Yep.
all over the
Now,
facility.
And you've
Have you heard that, Stephanie?
Stephanie,
You
we'll rock and
enlarged
roll
the
now.
yard out there, didn't you?
We did.
Yes.
We built part of our training yard is up, which is a grass yard that we can use for training. And, our ultimate goal is we have trainers that we're working with, but to provide basic training for our adoptees too. So
You may have to take Rayford too.
I know.
He's not.
I'm not sure he'll fit in my carrier,
There
but
you go.
we can
There
try.
you go. Bye-bye.
Came in with 3 and left with 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, friend. She says, "Oh, hey."
he looks just like a cat I used to have.
So relaxed.
Oh,
You're so relaxed.
little tuxedo.
Say
You're
bye.
I always liked acupuncture.
Thank you.
See, I told you put her on your back. She
Oh,
would have helped
she
you
got
out
the
there.
back. She found it.
Well, adorable. So please, if you
Yeah, do
consider
that.
getting a
Yeah,
cat.
the other thing is, in addition to adoption or fostering or bringing food or doing whatever, get a sign, if you will, put it
Yes.
up. And if you will also, they accept cash, checks,
We
money
do.
orders,
We do.
Donations of
gift
any kind.
cards.
Yeah, gift
If
cards.
you've
Yeah.
got some gift cards, people give you a gift card for
And if
whatever reason.
businesses want to donate items, we do
Yeah,
like for
absolutely.
our bingo night. those are the prizes,
Yeah.
our baskets.
You got some stuff you want that
baskets.
you're
Yeah.
willing to donate to.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And we all know that big businesses have stuff that's left over, one of a kind, two of
Oh,
a kind,
yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
You want to clear the floor.
Pop
Take it over.
Shelf in Jacksonville just gave us a nice big donation. And I need to get over there, but yeah, they gave us a nice donation of dog toys and different things that we
cool.
can utilize
Excellent.
for our animals, and also for, again, like our gift baskets for our larger events and things like that. All of that stuff helps.
Okay.
So thank you so
Nice.
much
Vicky,
for having
we
me.
do
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
coming
Thank
in.
you.
We
Thanks for
appreciate you
bringing that
guys.
in.
We'll see you next month. We're
Well,
anxious to
be
see what you're
here.
bringing.
Oh, yeah.
It won't slither, I promise.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, I'm afraid you'll be operating the board all by yourself. You're bringing some of the slivers.
No.
I'll be gone too.
That's
No,
why I
I'll
can never
do-
work for Onslow
I'll-
County. They literally do all animals.
Yeah.
I'll take care of the problem. No problem. I've got experience in that area. Okay, we're gonna leave on a funny, okay?
Yeah.
So this guy turned it down over there.
Okay.
This guy used to give a beggar $1,000 every month.
Mhm.
This is funny, but it's not funny. He used to, every month, he'd see this one guy out there and he'd give him a grant. Nice thing to do. The man continued in this way for a period of time. One day he gave the guy only $750. The so-called beggar, the man down on his luck, was surprised by that, but he didn't say anything. He said, $750 is better than nothing, my
Mhm.
God. So the man left. After a month, he came back and he gave the guy only $500. Uh-oh. So they call him the beggar. The man down on his luck was surprised. He said to this benefactor, he said, you know, you used to give me $1,000, then it decreased and became $750. Now it's $500. Why? May I know the reason? The man replied, in the past, all my children were young and I was very well off. So I would give you $1,000. Then my daughter grew up. She entered the university and the university expenses pretty high. So I started to give you $750 a month for a while. Now my second son has entered the university and the expenses increased. So I give you $500. So the beggar asking, how many children do you have? The man replied, 4. Ooh, the beggar said, and will you educate them all at my expense? Sometimes others consider kindness and good deeds as their right and not as generosity from us.
Mhm.
That story, when I read that, it was sort of kind of supposed to be a joke. It's not a
No, it's
joke.
not.
No.
It's not a joke. So anyway, it's the way we become in this country.
Mhm.
Oh, you got your mouse and your pad back? Your rat pad?
Yeah, somehow the mouse took off on me.
Okay.
Cat
We will
chased
see
it.
you tomorrow. Tomorrow being Thursday, and we're going to have a guy in here by the name of Miller. Or we'll talk to him anyway. It will be Miller time tomorrow. Who else? Do we have anybody else scheduled for tomorrow yet? Nobody
There's
on
a possibility
Oh, okay.
we're working on.
Okay.
And I meant to, speaking of Miller, I meant to give you a message earlier. He said to remind you that Goldfinger is one of the best James Bond movies ever.
It's not one of the best. It is the best.
So there you
It
go.
was the first one I saw.
And then when we were talking about workplace violence
I
and,
saw
and,
it.
and
I
you
saw
know,
it at the Center Theater.
he said, and we were like in like shocked at some of the stories that come out. And he says the reason why we get shocked like that is because people in positions like being in the military, law enforcement, teachers, elected officials, we hold them to a higher standard.
Well, we should.
Which I agree with
However-
that 100%.
However, just because somebody has been in a profession
Mm-hmm.
or has been in a situation, carried letters for a living, set up mail in the post office, doesn't give us the right to label them as something that maybe it's got absolute. This
I
guy
agree.
served over 50 years
I agree.
ago.
I agree.
Do you think he's been harboring all this hatred for all those years? If he did, I'm sure that at General Motors for 36
Right.
years, he could have found an outlet.
Well, I guess that's why when it's something like a police officer, a judge, because there's been a lot of stories about judges lately, sheriffs, police chiefs, a surgeon. I guess that's like when something happens with them, that's going to make the news first before somebody that nobody even knows walks in and robs a store or shoots somebody, because it's just like Chris said, we find that news because we're like, wow, how could they?
Yeah.
We hold them to a higher standard, which are we right or wrong in that? But yeah, that's why.
Holding them to a higher standard is one thing. But if that's your opening line, when it may have absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever, to do with whatever their profession was or whatever. Maybe
That's
he
like
was a Boy Scout.
teachers.
Do you think that does anybody ever mention the fact that the most notorious man to ever walk the streets of Onslow County? You know who it was, right?
He was a corpsman.
Yeah, well, you know what else he was?
Oh no.
He's a Boy Scout leader. Do you ever hear anybody say anything
Talking
about
about
that?
Marcus Schrader?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I did.
I knew he was a corpsman.
Yeah. But Corman had absolutely nothing to do with his murdering 4 women that he was charged with, and another one that he wasn't connected to until he was dead.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's like how we get so shocked when a teacher's in the news for doing something. We're like, oh, because growing up.
Now, if a teacher does something that is involving kids, like become sexually active or whatever, then their position, their job is very relevant to the charges and to the actions that were taken, right?
Right.
Most of the time, yes.
Yeah.
But if it was Chris,
Well, growing up, I went
would they care that you did a talk show? Would anybody put that up there?
Well, I can remember how shocked I was when there was a gentleman that was band director at the high school and also was the music director at one of the churches, had the utmost respect for the man. This was when I was young growing up. And he ended up being arrested for, I would say, crimes against children or sex crimes or whatever. I'll never forget how devastating that was for me because, and then we had a mailman, and this is in our younger years, that was every day. And he always stopped and checked on us. And if our family needed something, he would bring it. And he's even brought his wife over. He was arrested for issues with children. And I'll never forget how devastating that was because the mailman, no. A teacher, no.
Well, especially if it's somebody you know.
Right.
Okay, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
We'll be
I
there.
think the weather will be very nice tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll
Supposed
see.
to be.
And have a really great rest of your day. It's going to be warm, a little breezy at times, but that'll keep you cool. That'll keep you from sweating too bad.
Where's
Do you
sunscreen?
realize that the end of next week?
Is the beginning of hurricane season.
Yes.
You're live and local, real talk.
No.
Where we're always awake and always full of whatever and never woke, but we'll see you in the morning. Bye, y'all.
Have a good day.